Hello, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Danish Kazdar. I am a fellow member of ACCA. Today we are having the fourth lecture, and today we are going to discuss about the ledger accounts and double entry. So what are ledger accounts? Ledger accounts are the principal accounts which are contained in a ledger called the general ledger. Examples of accounts in the GL are plant and machinery, motor vehicles, salaries and wages, rent, insurance, etc. So you can think about it as a chart of accounts, which is uh, which is prepared when you set up a company. For example, when you're setting up a company in the ERP or in an accounting software, you need to set up, the first step would be to set up a chart of accounts. So this is the first step, and we would discuss this about in detail in the coming lectures. Now we are going to discuss a very important concept, which is the concept of debit and credit. Debit and credit are two terms used to denote changes, that is increase and decrease in assets, expense, income, liability, equity. So whenever an asset increases, it is noted as a debit, and whenever it decreases, it is noted as a credit. Similarly, expense increases debit and decreases credit. Income, liability, and equity. Whenever these three increase, they are uh, noted as a credit, and whenever these three decrease, their decrease is noted as a debit. So you can see the sequence here, that the assets and expense have a similar treatment in terms of their increase and decrease whenever it comes to debit credit, and income, liability, equity, or capital, they have a similar treatment for their increase and decrease whenever you are uh, working on what should be debited, what should be credited. So this is a very important slide. You might need to have a screenshot of this, because this would make the foundation of your learning. So we are just to elaborate that concept. If you buy an asset, let's say a table worth 30,000 rupees on cash, the entry would be, so you can first think about it, what should be the entry. So you have bought an table. Table is an asset, and there is a cash outflow, so cash is also an asset. So whenever you think of that, how it should be, uh, how the double entry would work, so it would be asset debit. Why? Because the asset is increasing, and cash is credited because cash is decreasing. So this is the double entry for a simple uh, procurement of table. Now if you buy the same table, same item, but this time you buy it on a credit card, the entry would be the asset would be debit, this would remain the same. However, you create an accounts payable, because credit card means you have a liability which needs to be settled later. So this means that you are creating a liability, and a liability increase is noted as a credit, as we studied in the previous slide. So here the liability is increasing, so you would note it as a accounts payable credit 30,000. You can write it whatever, it could be payable, it could be vendor payable, but of course this is a liability. Payable is a liability, and since it is increasing, it would be marked as a credit. Now once you actually settle the payable, that is pay or credit card bill, the entry would be accounts payable debit. Why? Because the liability is decreasing, and here we studied that whenever the liability decreases, it is debit. And bank cash would be credited, because eventually you have to give the actual money at that time, so the cash needs to be credited. So you can take your time and understand this slide, and if you have any questions, please do mention in the comment section. So this is the format of a ledger account. If I'm saying that there is a ledger of rent expense, you can think about it as a debit and credit, as a T account, where you mention the balances here. Of course, uh, today we are living in a world where accounting softwares and ERPs are prevalent, but understanding of T accounts could help you gain a better understanding of the ERP as well. We would discuss this format of ledger account in a later lecture, and thank you for watching the video, and do not forget to subscribe this channel. Thank you.